This is Pam from NortheastWheelsEvents.com at the AACA Museum in Hershey, and we're at the tail end of their 100 years of Dodge. Dodge, of course, Dodge Brothers were a machine shop, and they manufactured engines and transmissions for a number of early cars, including the curved dash Olds and the Ford Model T, as well as other Fords. They made the engine and transmission with an arrangement with Henry Ford. In 1914, they started building their own cars, much to the chagrin of Henry. They pioneered 12-volt electrics. They also had electric start. And they were $100 more than Model T, but they were quite a bit more powerful and more cars. What we're looking at is a 1918 Dodge touring car. This was a staff car. Dodge really performed well with Pancho Villa War, Mexico, and of course World War I. We're going to take a walk through now from the teens into the 20s. This is a world-class museum arranged by year. We're going to look at 1921 Dodge 3-passenger. Very pretty little car. This particular Dodge sold for $12.35 and all the way up to $21.55. That was definitely a medium price car. Depot hack. We're going to swing around. You're going to see all sorts of really cool things here. Again, I really encourage coming to the AACA Museum. This should be on your bucket list. This is 1929 Dodge Sport Roadster. Rumble seat. Luggage on the side. Truly a striking car. Number 29. October was when the crash hit. We're coming out of the roaring 20s where things were really rocking. So you can see this is a very, very upmarket car, solid in the middle class. Next we go into the 30s, 1930s. Of course, we crashed already. We're scrambling for everything. Dodge actually came out with had already introduced Plymouth and taken over DeSoto. That's a 36 four-door convertible. Followed by a 1930 Dodge Coupe. You can see the difference in styling. Let me note this. 1930 still looks like that early car. Now 6 years later, look how far they went with styling. They were moving the rear seat forward. Beyond the rear axle, they already started getting into the aerodynamics. Here's another 36 Coupe. What a difference. Going to go into the 40s now. 1940 luxury liner, 7-passenger sedan. Dodge is well known for building a good quality car. This is a 41. We're going to jump back just a little bit because this car is so striking. 1932.
That's there. That's cordoned off. Everything's back.
Into the 50s, 1956. This was already beginning of the forward look. These cars actually caused General Motors to go back to the drawing boards because they were just so clean and striking. Unfortunately, so you could walk around to the front of these cars, but I can't really photograph. You're going to have to come to the museum. 57, we're just getting a little bit bigger, longer, and lower. You can see it tagged in. We're jumping around again to a 35. That's Australian built Dodge. 4-door touring. Into the 70s, you got the 78 Dodge Magnum with T-tops. This, of course, shared the bodies with the Cordoba, Chrysler Cordoba, and the Charger. This was already after the first gas crunch, which was early 70s. This is part of Dodge Muscle, 1970 Challenger. This particular one's an RT convertible. Let's take a look inside. Nice white interior. Hershey 4-speed shift. This was back when gas was 25 cents a gallon. This particular one I think it's been modified, yes, under the hood. But let's take a look at that Hemi. Hemi, of course, was introduced in the early 50s by Chrysler. They were not the first with the Hemis. Hemis went back to the aughts, but they were legendary. Then they were discontinued in the late 50s, and because of the popularity, returned. We're taking a look at a real nice dual quad Hemi over here, attached to a 727, automatic, headers. There's a big heavy engine, but oh, did she move. As you all know, this is where the legend really developed. Next to it, we've got so many people's first car, the Dodge Swinger. I love that concave rear roof. This was, of course, part of the Dart series. Some of the last Darts. The inevitable Dodge Dart started actually as a large car, medium-sized car in the early 60s and went into a compact. Became legendary in durability. This particular one is a 1973 Dodge Dart Swinger. And of course, what would an exhibit be without a Viper? This is a 96 Viper. Pure animal, V10. Monstrous car. This is Pam from NortheastWheelsEvents.com, coming to you from the AACA Museum in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We're looking at the tail end of the 100 Years of Dodge special exhibit at the museum. Museum's always changing exhibits, so always check your wheels for events and shows coming up in your area. I'm from NortheastWheelsEvents.com. We're at the AACA Museum at the end of the 100 Years Dodge celebration. We're saying goodbye to West 28. Just warming up, getting ready to roll.
It's just a chunk wants to pull itself.
I'm sorry, 1925, not 28. See if we can get this. Going out the door is kind of wild, but
come and they go.
yeah, I know. As we bid a fond farewell to 100 years of Dodge at the AACA Museum. Make sure you put this on your bucket list. It's a world-renowned museum. This is Pam from NortheastWheelsEvents.com. Make sure you check your wheels every day for all sorts of cool events like this.